Hi everyone, I'm Andrew. I'm the COO of TechHub in London. Today I wanted to talk about advisors, mentors, governance structures, and the way in which startups and at what point startups should build those into their business and how they grow. There's a number of reasons for that. I think it's often the case that early stage founders don't start to bring in external advisors, perhaps other than friends, family, and fools early enough into the business. And that's something that we advise the members to do on a regular basis, is just to talk to as many people as possible about what they're doing and to really understand their own skill sets, what they're good at, what they're bad at. And there's the classic tip where really a great entrepreneur surrounds themselves by people who are better at doing each of the things that they do individually, so they can keep a high level view on the businesses that they're building and running. I think there are a number of reasons for that. The first, of course, is that the external advisors that you bring in are often experts in their industries, have strong relationships with the industry that your product is in. Sometimes they can be technology experts, where you may be an experienced entrepreneur in your industry but not necessarily have the technical knowledge. They may be other experienced investors who know more about the startup journey that you go through. So I think it's really important to go through an exercise of looking at what your skill sets are, what your top challenges are now, and how you build advisors with those sets of experiences into organizations. Another thing which we've seen regularly is people reaching out to those individuals and having a conversation with them where they have expertise, and ultimately turning some of those people into angel investors or big advocates of organizations which have opened up doors for startups very early. There's a common theme in successful startups that we've seen, that it's not just the founding team that adds significant value to the growth of the startup. It's the external people and people they've got involved in their organizations very early that have been able to add a lot of value as well. You don't have to pay external advisors necessarily very early. It's remarkable how much free time and advice people will give you if you ask them in the right way. So don't be fearful of reaching out to great people from the industry that your product's in, or that are technology experts in the area in which you're looking at, and build those into your governance structure. So it might be that in the early days they aren't necessarily shareholders, or they don't have equity or options in the business, but they can still turn up to effectively a board meeting, or to agree to meet you regularly and just give you feedback on the product building. Remember that the advice that you get from individuals is only ever as good as their personal experience, or what they've read, or who they know. So at TechHub, we don't actually do mentoring programs specifically. We try and facilitate relationships between our members and find them 2 or 3 people who've had a similar experience or been through something that they're going through at the moment, and linking them up so they can have a conversation. And then we encourage entrepreneurs to effectively aggregate all the information, advice or tips that they've had, and then to inform their own opinion. So advisors are very important as an information source. They're very important as a test bed. They're very important to feed into your own process thinking, and later as board members, or as shareholders, or as investors, they can add clear value in other ways as well. But really focus at an early stage on getting those people involved. The other thing, of course, as you grow, is that those advisors don't necessarily stay for or have to stay for a very long time. It's quite common for absolutely leading academics to get involved in startups from some of the best universities, but then they don't have to stay on the boards of those startups or stay advisors of those startups at a much later stage. So remember to keep refreshing your advisors, keep refreshing the people who are involved in your governance, so they're appropriate for the stage of the development or the idea that you're working on in the business later. You can also create different tiers. So there's a huge difference between somebody being an advisor, or somebody being a mentor or advisor to a member of your team, to an early stage, to being involved at a later stage as an advocate or on other specific committees related to topics that the business is working on as well. So remember, it doesn't necessarily have to be that people get involved in advisors through being a shareholder. It doesn't have to be necessarily that they're paid at an early stage. So think about that early on.